Don't let anyone tell you that you can't predict your marketing results. The only way to predict your marketing results is to test and know your numbers. But how do you know what Facebook ads data to be looking at, what to optimize, and when to increase your budget when it's working? In this video, I'll walk you through what you should be tracking in your marketing strategy as a whole. But more importantly, I'm going to show you how to track your customer journey from beginning to end. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you the 5 most important metrics you need to pay attention to with your ads. When running ads, you will always be either scaling your ads or optimizing your ads. This will be an ever-evolving process. The key with knowing which one to put your effort into is first knowing your numbers. Your numbers should guide all of your decisions. I generally recommend tracking your numbers on a daily basis, weekly basis, and monthly basis. Those 3 viewpoints will give you a different snapshot of your ad performance and your funnel performance. Not only will you track the actual results you're getting with your ads and your marketing, but you're also going to compare those results to your goals. This will allow you to see where you're hitting the mark and where you're missing it. For example, let's say we're running traffic to a webinar. Our goal is to get a $5 cost per registration, but we're getting $8. So what are some actions we can take to bring that cost down? Well, we could start at the ad and try new ad copy, try new targeting. We also could look at our landing page conversion. Once people get to that webinar page, are they signing up? Or is there an opportunity for us to improve that conversion by maybe adding a better headline or improving our mobile optimization? Now, let's say with this webinar funnel, you're getting those leads at $4 cost per lead. And then once they get to the webinar, only 10% of them are watching the webinar, when you really want more like 20% watching the webinar. How can we increase the number of people, that webinar show up rate, so more people watch the webinar and ultimately hear your offer? You could add additional reminder emails. You could add a text message reminder. When optimizing your ads correctly, your data will be telling you what to do. You'll never be sitting there wondering, how do I make my ads better? How do I get these converting? How do I become profitable? The data will guide those actions. I want you to visualize your customer journey as several steps. And each one of those steps, I want you to define what metric is attached to them. The first place where you find you're not achieving your goal with that step, stop there and come up with 3 action items to go and fix that metric. It's critical that you start with that first step, because if that step isn't fixed, it's going to impact everything else below it. For example, if your ads were getting a really high cost per click, that's going to impact your landing page conversion, your actual cost per conversion or lead, as well as your sales conversion and your overall profit of your ad campaign. We have to start with the first place where we're missing the mark on our goals, fix that problem, and then move on to the next. So how do we actually predict our marketing results? The only way to do that is to properly test and buy data. What I mean by buying data is whenever you have a new funnel or a new offer that you're launching using Facebook ads, you have to choose to spend money to get as much traffic as you can to that new funnel, which gives you back data, which tells you what to go fix, which tells you where the holes are and what action to take next. Here's what your testing process could look like. First, you'll set aside a testing budget, and you'll set this budget aside knowing you might not get it back right away. You might not make it back in the next 2 weeks or even 30 days. So when you set the budget, be comfortable knowing that. And then set goals with that budget. Ideally, you get at least 100 people through your funnel. Once you spend that money and you have that data, go back and analyze it. What's the cost per lead that you paid? What is your landing page conversion? Out of all those leads, how many people bought? And allow that to tell you where there are holes. And there will be holes. Nobody launches a new funnel or a new offer and hits it right out of the gate. You have to go through this process of testing, refining, and then repeating. And you do that again and again until your funnel is profitable. Then you can choose to increase your budget and get more traffic to your funnel and ultimately make more money. So how do you identify the holes in your marketing strategy? Let's look at the 5 most important metrics to pay attention to in your strategy. The first metric is your cost per click. This will be the cost you're paying for somebody to click on your ad in Facebook. You want this to be around 50 cents to $3. If this is too high, the way you decrease that cost per click is you test out new ad copy, you test test out new images or new ad videos, and you test out new targeting until you can bring that cost per click down. The second metric is your landing page conversion. This is the conversion of the page that you're sending people to from your Facebook ads. Now, if that is a free opt-in, a webinar, a video series, a lead magnet, you want that landing page conversion to be above 25%. That means 25% of all the people who land on that page are signing up for your free offer. If you're not hitting that number, I would look at the copy on that page. Are you clearly stating the benefit of somebody signing up for what you're offering? I would look at how optimized it is for mobile and how you can improve that to increase that landing page conversion. If you're sending somebody to a paid product from Facebook ads, you want about 6 to 10% of the people landing on that page to purchase that product. Now, if you're not hitting those numbers, then most likely it's in your messaging. Look at how you can improve the copy on that page to really communicate the benefit of somebody buying that product. I would also compare the ad to that page and make sure there's not a really big disconnect. If there's a big disconnect from the ad somebody's clicking on, and then when they get to the page, they think it's something totally different, they will just leave the page and not take the action you want them to take. The third metric is your cost per lead or cost per conversion. You ideally want this to be between $2 and $8. There can be a lot of variation depending on what you're sending somebody to. For example, a webinar is usually more expensive than a lead magnet. Your audience also impacts this. Usually the consumers will be a lower cost per lead, whereas business owners will be a much higher cost per lead. But $2 to $8 is what I see average. Now, if you are not hitting this, the way you can improve that is by lowering your cost per click or improving your landing page conversion. Those two metrics directly impact your cost per conversion. The fourth metric is your sales conversion. This will tell you the percentage of people who actually bought your product. If you get 100 webinar registrants and 6 people buy your course, you have a 6% sales conversion. This is going to vary a lot depending on the cost of your offer and your audience. But in general, you want about 1 to 6% of your total leads to purchase your offer. If you're not hitting these numbers, you need to look directly at where you introduce the offer to your audience and how to improve that, how to better communicate the benefits of your offer, how to address your audience's typical objections, how to show case studies or testimonials and prove that you can solve your audience's problems. Another piece that directly impacts the sales conversion is the experience that the lead has leading up to when you pitch your offer. Making sure you're not overwhelming your audience, but instead are building authority, building trust, and helping your audience see the path to solving their problem. The last metric to pay attention to is your return on ad spend. This is an overall metric to look at how much you spent on ads and how much you got back. Now, all of these metrics that I just talked about will impact this return on ad spend. Sometimes there are cases when these metrics above look good, but your return on ad spend isn't enough with your business numbers. Looking at this number as a whole allows you to see, have you built a profitable strategy that's going to be profitable for the long term as you scale and increase your budget. If you're looking for a video more about the tactical components of Ads Manager, setting up, optimizing, and tracking your ads, there's a playlist for that right here. Or here's another video that I think you might like.